Cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking nothing, but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, don't roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta, and this is Get Right Fantasy Network. It's August 25th, and that means only 12 more days until we have actual football.
Thank God.
Kicking off week 1. Chiefs, Lions. It's going to be good, man. Thursday, September 7th. So make sure you guys, I mean, I know everyone who's watching this already knows that. So I'm here with my boy, man, Classic Mike. How's it going, Classic? How you doing?
Good, man. Excited to be back. I'm finally back in my own element, back in my new home. Finally can actually, have everything that I had normally. So I'm happy for that. Happy that we had my home drafts yesterday. Everything. Just it's that time of year. It's just so exciting. I just can't wait to get this going. Can't wait to get one of these three, a chance into our new league.
Absolutely, man. That's what we're here for tonight. So not only will we be discussing the news items tonight, big trade that went down earlier, we're going to be doing that semifinal round 4, the last semifinal of our mock draft tournament of champions, where we're going to find the next top 3 that are going to join the 9 that have been waiting these last 3 weeks to form the Elite 12, the final 12 that will all mock or technically draft in a best ball league on Friday, September 1st. So next Friday, it's already here, man. We're excited. Absolutely. We got everybody in the chat. Got Dynasty Den. You got Jeff. Of course, we got Wilson in the house. You got Bro Cal in the house, who's in this mock tonight, man. So shout out to everybody out there, man, and Get Right Land. Appreciate you guys joining us here tonight. If you do have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. We'll get them to you. Any draft questions, anything you want, ask us anything at all times. We're here for you to make it happen. So without any further ado, these guys have been waiting. We had to get one alternate in here tonight, so I do apologize, Spitta, but something must have happened and he didn't make it in here, but better luck next year, my guy. So let's bring this draft board up, and we'll get this mock started. So let's do it. I don't like that view. Let's go to this view.
The other one. Yeah.
This one, that one's a good one. All right, perfect. So there we go, man. We're going to get this thing started. Everybody that's in there. Here we go. You got Tycoon in the 1 spot here. Luke Mehling, I think. I don't know how you're saying it, but you got Luke in the 2 spot. You got KJ Flynn, our boy over here in the 103. You got Breaking Ball here. You got Shaw Dog, Lord of Fanta, Bro Cal, Uno Goss, Jay Bologna. You got Mason Ruthier, Cherry Poppins, and the Pillsbury Throwboy in that 12 spot. So they're going to get at it, man. And while they do, I want to take 1 second to just tell you guys here about our sponsor, of course, UnderdogFantasy.com. For those of you guys who don't know, they have a variety of different contests. It's a large best ball platform where they have different tournaments with big payouts, like their $25 Best Ball Mania 4, the biggest best ball tournament here that's around that I'm aware of. $3 million to first place, $2 million to second place, $1 million to third. $25 buy-in. They also have little sit and go type contests where you could just play 3, 6, 10, or just 12 player leagues. All best ball from anywhere from $3 to $500 buy-ins there. So whatever suits your budget. Make sure you play responsibly, of course. They have a new tournament going on right now. In addition to their weekly winners, they have the Little Eliminator. It's a $6 buy-in. It's a cool guillotine style league where the bottom teams are eliminated each week. Coming down to the last week where there'll be one that'll be crowned. Again, only $6 to enter, 100,000 to first place, 50,000 to second. And then, of course, if you like a little higher stakes, a little smaller field, they have the big Bulldog 2 going on right now, $500 buy-in. So make sure you guys go check all that out. And when you do, make sure you use that promo code GetRight. When you do, you'll get a 100% deposit match when you make your first deposit, anywhere from $10 to $100. So you're basically doubling your money. And once you get on there, again, you can check out those drafts, really get you dialed in for your home leagues. And of course, they have other stuff as well. Their season-long pick'ems, higher lowers, their rivalry picks, and a bunch more. And not only just for football, they have baseball, basketball, golf, NASCAR, a bunch of different things that are there. We do have the map, of course, that you can check them out. There are some states there you can pause it. And, unfortunately, if you're in one of those states, they're not going to be available to you, but they're working on it and they'll be coming to you soon. So we appreciate you, Underdog. And again, use that promo code GetRight and come jump in a mock or come jump in a draft with us. Let us know. We'll get in with you. So there you go. All right, man. So again, for those who don't know, this is the last semifinal round for our mock draft tournament. Basically, just kind of recap the whole thing. We've been running 4 qualifying mocks each week of August here, Monday through Thursday. The 4 of us here on Get Right, myself, Classic, Dustin, and Frank, we rank the teams kind of based on our preferred players, roster construction, and kind of more importantly, if it were like an orphan league, which team would we want to acquire first, second, third, so on and so forth, as if we were kind of heading into the season with that team. So, it's not just about a certain pick that you got, someone fell to you in a certain spot, but how you completely put the team together and if we feel, we could do something with that team, should we have taken it over. So, again, there's a lot of subjectivity there. We all look for different things in our team builds. It's kind of hard. That's why it's a consensus. Sometimes my number 1 ranked team doesn't even make our top 6 and vice versa. So it truly is just a consensus. So don't take it personal. There's a lot of good teams that are put together, but when you have to rank them 1 through 12 or 1 through 6, it does get a little tough. So we got a lot of competitive people out here, man, that want to make that top 3 every week. Everybody thinks they draft the best team. But, unfortunately, it just is what it is. So more importantly, just make sure we're here having fun, getting some good mocks in so you can come out and dominate your home leagues. So yeah, man, we'll get more into that. Of course, we got this semifinal round going on and we'll kind of start breaking it down, let you guys know what we think about it. But first, let's get into some news and notes around the league, man. Just real quickly before we get in the main topic here, we had the Steelers and Falcons and Colts and Eagles play yesterday. It was kind of funny watching the Steelers first string just run crazy, all over the Falcons second and third stringers. Yeah, and that just goes to show you when people are like, oh, like when the Lions went 0-16. Yeah. And they're like, oh, a college team could beat them. They can't, bro. Like these guys are good, man. Even some of the worst teams, can still, that's why these guys get paid what they get paid to be able to play this game. So that was kind of interesting, but it was some of my takeaways on that was just the Najee Warren backfield split. Warren was actually in on the goal line. He was the one that scored the touchdown. So would you kind of think about that Steelers Falcons game if you got to watch it yet?
I didn't get to watch it, but the main thing is I as much as I want to read into things that happen in the preseason, I don't want to yet. I think at this point it's, like Rasta said in the beginning, you're having their first string against second and third stringers. They're just trying to see what they have. They're trying to, put guys in that normally don't go in, or they're trying to get an idea of what would work during the regular season. Nothing means really that much, really, other than if they're not playing. If they're not playing, they're just saving them for the regular season. Things like that. Sometimes they're playing them just to give them a little bit of a little bit of real time, real gameplay before we get into the real season. With the one less preseason game, they're trying to get every one of those, lower, bubble team guys at the bottom. So, yeah, so just make sure you guys don't take it with a grain of salt. So, absolutely.
As far as Colts Eagles, Eagles sat most of their guys. We did get to see Anthony Richardson go out there. Didn't have a great passing day, 5 for 17, but definitely showed his rushing ability. Even had a long run called back, I think, on a 3rd and 15 that Aid converted, but it was a hold. So, kind of looks like he could be potentially Justin Fields of last year. He is one of the most athletic quarterbacks that have been, that have tested in the combine as far as just pure athletics. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates at that position. To see how he comes through this year. So I'm personally kind of staying away from him in redraft this year. Wouldn't mind maybe having a piece of him in Dynasty, but definitely someone I'm going to be watching, every week to see how he turns out. So did you get to catch this game at all either, or hear anything about it?
I haven't really gotten a chance to check out this week's stuff. I've been very busy the last 2 days,
The house and all that,
house and everything. But I've gotten little, highlight stuff. Like we got to see from the Steelers game, great catch by Pickens. I did see the eagle fly from Anthony Richardson, and he had a rough night. I think this is what Anthony Richardson's going to be. He's going to have good legs. It definitely reminds me of something like Justin Fields last year. Just the concept of can run but can't throw. So he's just going to need time. And like you said, I really don't want him in redraft. I have a piece of him in Dynasty, and if you really wanted to in like a super flex league as your QB2, I don't mind it. It's just one of those things where I'm kind of out unless I absolutely have no other choice. Like I have him in our Dynasty league. I draft him at the 102. I'm
super
happy.
Flex, yeah.
Yeah, it was super flex. So I mean, it was worth it in some way, shape, or form. I feel some regret. I'd rather have gone with something like CJ Stroud, but that's just buyer's remorse at this point. I think I'm gonna just wait and see how it all goes. But we'll see.
Absolutely. And just a correction, I just looked it up here on Sleeper. It's 6 to 17. I don't know if I maybe just typed it in wrong on my show sheet or whatever, but yeah, so 6 to 17, 78 yards, 5 carries for 38 yards for Anthony Richardson. So, of course, we have some preseason games going on as we speak, and earlier today we had Lions, Panthers, Patriots, Titans, and then, of course, Chargers at my Niners. We've been doing show stuff here, at least myself. I know if you didn't watch the other games, you probably haven't watched tonight either.
I've been watching the stats for this one.
Oh, okay. Well, then, hey, there you go. I'll switch it over to you. What did you see here tonight?
Well, I mean,
on any of these games?
I didn't get a chance to actually watch the game, but from there was an alert on Sleeper, so I know like half of you are on Sleeper. It said that Alan Thielen got brought to the medical tent. He's fine. He went right back in 10 minutes later.
Right.
Everyone said it's fine. Don't worry about it. So I'm not really, scared about Thielen. And they basically showed what he's going to be. What he's going to be. He's going to be their possession receiver. He was, I think, 5 for, or he was 6 for 5 with 30 some odd yards. Hold on, I'm getting the stats, so I'm not talking out my butt here. Yeah, he was. Where is he? There he is. He was 5 for 4 and a touchdown for 48 yards. So I mean, that
nice.
That seems to be where he is. I mean, of course, their other guys did a little bit better. Mingo only got 1 catch. I do think Mingo is going to be a little bit more involved in that offense than people think he will. Bryce had a decent showing, 7 for 12 for a touchdown and 73 yards. He had some rushing as well. So, I mean, ultimately, we'll see how this offense really plays out. I do, me and you both like a lot of the players on these particular teams. So we'll have to wait and see. The Lions didn't play anybody spectacular. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater looked good. I mean, geez, he was 13 for 22 and a touchdown. He also, ran a little bit, so he looked good. But he's playing with a lot of his second stringers. There were nobody on the first string for Detroit, so they looked like they had a decent day. Then with the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, they're playing right now. They're at halftime. Chargers are up 10-6. But the beginning of it, it was basically.
Did Brock play tonight?
Brock played tonight, and
okay.
I was going to get into that.
Sorry.
But they had all San Francisco starters going against all the second team of the Chargers. And from what I kept seeing, the San Francisco defense was going against the second team Chargers, and they're throwing around like rag dolls.
Let's go. I like the
Couple
sound of
big
that.
plays from a few guys. Brock
I saw
Purdy
Josh Kelly. Didn't he hit a 75-yard run, I think?
correct. So Josh Kelly got a big run at the end. He's the clear handcuff to Eckler. So if you're looking for a guy to back up Eckler, he's free at the bottom of drafts. I love going for him if you have the opportunity. For the Chargers, no one else really played other than that. Quinston Johnston did okay, 2 for 2 for 15, nothing crazy. But he didn't have Herbert throwing him the ball. Purdy had a night. I mean, he was 5 for 9 and 73 yards, which is pretty good. He ran for 5 yards and a touchdown. He was targeting Ayuk, which we want to see.
Let's
Deebo
go.
Samuel, he was targeting as well. So it seemed like they had good chemistry. Kittle only had one target during the time. So the starters got a couple of reps to just kind of get them ready for a couple of weeks from now, which is a good thing. I did not in any shape, way, or form care or want to watch the Patriots versus the Titans just because no one's playing this.
Yeah.
No one, Malik Willis is playing for his job.
Might be the number 2. Did you see that news about him and Will Levis? Okay.
Well, that was my whole thing. Like, he's playing for a big spot on the team. So, he was reported to possibly be cut and all this other stuff. I mean, he has a decent day, 15 for 20, 210 or 211, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. I mean, okay. Nothing special in my opinion. We see a little bit of Tajay Spears, who, seemed to do okay. Other than that, it wasn't really anything spectacular in my opinion. You don't have anything else going on with the Patriots. They pretty much sat everybody. I don't see anything crazy. So,
yeah, not bad. I was just kind of watching some highlights while you were. Yeah, I was going to say we'll get into the big topic now, but I was just watching the highlights. I saw the Brock touchdown run there. That was nice. Saw Malik Willis throw a 26-yard touchdown pass. Not bad either. Yeah. And yeah, just like Wilson said, man, make sure you guys, if you're listening right now, you hit that subscribe button for us. If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit that like button for us. It's just as good as a subscribe. Help us, grow the channel, man. We're trying to hit that 1,000 mark. Be really nice. Definitely don't want it to be a plateau, like Wilson said there. We just want it to be, another notch, a milestone for us here as we continue to grow, man. So we appreciate it again for all the support, everyone that's come out for the mock draft tournament. And again, hope you guys have had fun getting ready hopefully for your home leagues that are either drafting or getting ready to draft here in these next couple weeks,
or drafting at the current moment.
Yeah, as we're speaking. So,
which I'm on the clock for.
Absolutely, I just saw that. I was going to say you are on the clock, and you just said you're in the show. They can wait. We got 4 hours.
Oh yeah, that's why I said they gotta wait.
So perfect. So good stuff there. So let's get into the main topic, man. You guys saw it on the thumbnail. Of course, it involves my Niners here. And the Cowboys, which have been perfect here for this stream, with Frank and Dustin being our resident Cowboy fans, which I think is hilarious. And Frank's out fishing, believe it or not. He's going on a big fishing trip. So I don't know if he even saw this yet, because he might not have access to his phone. But Cowboys trade a 2024 4th-round pick to the 49ers for QB Trey Lance. So what were your initial thoughts when you saw that come through?
I knew that they were looking to trade him. Like, they kept saying, no, we're not looking to trade. You're looking to trade him. At the same time, did they get really anything in return? No. They literally got nothing for him. They got nothing for a guy that went for 2 first-rounders and 2 third-rounders and a swap.
A first-round swap.
Yeah. So essentially 3 first-rounders. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I don't understand. At this point, he could be a serviceable backup moving forward. It's just at this point, I mean, Cowboys are stacked with QBs. They have a bunch of guys that are just waiting in the wings. I know it's Cooper Rush, but we saw him last year and he did pretty well. But beyond that, I mean, good for the Cowboys. Like, I don't know who this really benefits, to be fair. It just doesn't seem like, I think all it benefits is the 49ers for clearing a bunch of cap off their, just off their roster because he was holding up a bunch of money. So I think that's about it. Like there really wasn't much in my opinion. I think that this is just, one of those, cut your losses type deal.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. Nothing against Trey Lance, man. I don't think he honestly got I don't want to say a fair shake, but the NFL doesn't, that bus doesn't stop for anybody, man.
No.
Obviously dealing with the COVID year, not getting a lot of playing time as last year, in college, then coming into the league, only getting a couple games, then, finally getting the start, and then of course, and then finally getting the start, breaking his foot, and just never really had a chance. A lot of he just really never got a chance to kind of show what he can do. The fact that, Sam Darnold beat him out in camp maybe just shows you he's just not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And maybe just the mental side of things, got to him. Guys like Calvin Ridley had to take a year off because of mental health and stuff like that. And, when you come in to having 3 firsts and the weight of the world, on your back, sometimes that pressure can get to people and you're trying to do too much. And especially when, then you have a guy that was the Mr. Irrelevant coming in and basically taking your job. Sometimes that could be, tough to deal with and tough to handle. So I like it for him, on a personal level, getting a fresh start with a new team. We've seen it with guys like Geno Smith. Maybe he can have kind of a little resurrection like that after sitting for a while, not having all the expectation. Goes to at least a cool place, I guess you'd say, in Dallas. Nice facilities, good training, good market.
I don't know
and
about coaching, but we'll get into
right. As far as from the Niners side of it, I just feel it's good now. We're not answering questions about what quarterback or our players don't got to answer about it. It's fine. It's over. It's done with. We cut our losses. People that are like, oh, the Niners gave up 3 firsts and egg on your face. It's like, bro, people make bad first round picks and 2-3 picks in a row. Like the Browns haven't made a good quarterback decision in freaking over a decade. And then we'll see what
they haven't
had
to trade that much away to get to that pick.
But it doesn't matter. Like it's not one specific pick; it's multiple picks over years. Those first round picks they could have picked the next couple of years could have all been busts too. But at least what I appreciated from a Niners fan perspective is the fact that they went out and tried to make a move. To me, if you're just dealing with mediocrity or just getting bums off the street, not doing anything or just settling for mediocrity. To me, that's the problem. Like at least, hey, we missed on Trey Lance, but we went out and traded for Christian McCaffrey. And we didn't need to trade 3 firsts to do all that. So let's just pretend like we traded those 2 firsts for Christian McCaffrey. And we traded what we, traded for him to get Lance. And if that didn't work out, then it's not that bad. We're still in the same spot at the end of the day. And, we went to the Eastern Conference Championship last year. I felt we had a, chance to win that if it wasn't for the injury to Purdy. We'll never know. Can't go back and change it. But as far as the franchise, we'll see how it affects us down the road. But right now, I feel like we still have a strong team and can still compete. And, those 3 firsts don't mean anything to me right now. That's a problem for, later Anthony fan to worry about. And we'll see how they can, trade out of that or what they can do. So, hey, it happens, man. Picks aren't everything. It's better than them depleting like 3 different players to go get Trey Lance, and then he doesn't work, and then now we don't have those players. At least it was picks, and again, those picks weren't guaranteed, kind of like how I feel in Dynasty. I'll trade all my picks away. I don't care. Like, give me something that I know works right now.
Oh, me too.
So let's just say we traded those 2 firsts for Purdy, and Trey Lance was the last drafted pick. Like, you can change the narrative however you'd like. We're still getting, you can take whatever path you want. We're still here at the end of the day. We have a top defense, and a lot of people feel it's us and the Eagles, maybe 1 or 2 other teams challenging for the NFC this year. And if it took us 3 firsts to get to that position, I don't care what road it was. If that's where we are at the end of the day, then I'm okay with it. So that's my piece on it.
I think a lot of it had to do with the Nick Bosa contract. I think you guys are really trying to aggressively sign him, and
Let's
needed
do
a
it.
cap.
Yeah, we need him.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that. That's kind of my point, though. You guys are looking to
makes sense.
You're trying to do something like as much as it hurt to do, and as bad of a situation that happened because of it. I mean, yeah, you lost out on a bunch of first round picks that Miami turned into gold. They got guys like Tyreek Hill and a few others with those particular picks. and they ended up doing pretty well with the amount of compensation they got. So yeah, it looks bad on paper, but in the end, now they're doing what they can to kind of go, all right, here's the paper towel. I'm going to wipe the egg off my face. I'm going to be like, all right, we're done. We're going to move forward now.
Just move on, man.
And
we're looking at past.
Yeah, there's no point in looking at it because at the end of the day, it is what it is. We got Albert in the chat going, are you guys in on Jahan Dotson this season?
If I had more thumbs, I'd put him up.
I'll give you 2 more right here. Like, I'll give you my 2, and then we'll add another. I mean, honestly, I am fully in on just Jahan Dotson. The kid is amazing. I try getting him everywhere I can. And at this point,
I got him.
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, you're dealing with Terry McLaurin, who's definitely going to be out for a while. He's going to be out and this is going to nag him for a while. Turf toe is not something that people realize. It is something that can aggravate you for most of your career. It is, essentially just something wrong with and in this case, it's his big toe, which is even worse, where it hurts from pushing off, and it makes it where it's part of the tendon and everything. Like, I'm telling you now, this is going to bother him for a really long time. I love Terry McLaurin. I think he's one of the better receivers in the league. I think he's underrated, but I think ultimately this just kind of moves Dotson up a little bit. You're definitely going to see him jump in a lot of situations. I'm looking to see if he did it here. Nope, he didn't move past Terry here yet, but I see that it's going to be one of those scenarios where within the next couple of days, we might see him surpassing McLaurin at one point. Because I saw McLaurin drop in my particular draft recently. And, I'm on him.
Yeah. KJ's in here saying we're too high on Dotson.
Yeah.
I mean, I got him in the 7th round as my wide receiver 4. So if that's too high, I mean, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I don't know why we can't like a guy, KJ. Can I just like somebody?
Oh,
is
no.
Okay.
I don't think he's saying that. I think he's just saying everybody's too high on him.
I think he's talking to me specifically.
Okay.
Because he did all that data crunching on our how we ranked and everything. So he's just trying to say that. So So I mean, hey, we like him. It's okay if we can like a guy. I don't know why we're not allowed to do that. That's okay. And yeah, I mean, he's just a good piece. So what's up, Dim Boys? How's it going, my guy? Let's see. So again, you guys got any questions, anything to contribute, always do so in the chat. We'll get to some other news and notes here we got here. I think that rounds it out. What's up, Cadillac? We haven't rounded out as far as Trey Lance goes. Anybody else has any comments on it, we'll be happy to share.
He meant exactly.
Oh, everyone's fishing up.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not too crazy. I'm not trying to take him as my wide receiver 2, but wide receiver 4. Like that's what I'm targeting there. All day, so.
I'm good with either 3 or 4. To be fair,
Yeah.
like I like him as my 3 or 4 in most situations. I've taken him multiple times in best ball. He is probably my highest exposure guy, if not second highest exposure to Laporte.
Very cool. Yeah, see, Dotson went to here, broke out at 7-7 here in our mock tonight. So we'll get into that here as we go. So another news, we got Cooper Kupp, who's been out since August 1st, returned to practice this week on Tuesday to the joint practice with the Broncos. And then on Thursday in that same practice session, you have Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy pulling up with the hamstring. He's expected to miss several weeks with a grade 2 hamstring that was suffered in that practice, was carted off the field. And per Dr. Jesse Morse with the Fantasy Docs, he's saying the MRI came out and it sounded like it was going to be a grade 2 pull, which is approximately 4 to 6 weeks. You have other sources kind of saying it's just moderate, kind of being more vague, saying that he's expected to miss several weeks. But they express optimism that it's not long term. But then they're saying, oh, there's a chance he's ready for week 1. I don't think there's any chance he's ready for week 1. So how does this just like your rankings or thoughts on Sutton, on Wilson, on Dulcich? This affects a lot of people. Obviously, they're down Tim Patrick. They're down now Jerry Jeudy for the first couple weeks. I mean, I don't know if you're still, are we? I know we like Mims kind of late. So yeah. So where are we at there?
So I've always been high on Sutton. One guy that I've been listening to a little bit more about it is our good buddy Howard Bender. I was listening to him just today, and they were talking about the Broncos. And the one thing that he mentioned is the concept that with, Joe Lombardi being there with Sean Payton and the offense they love to run, they love to go through the X receiver. And in this case, that is Courtland Sutton. And they basically just peppered them with targets. We could see it in the past with guys like Marquise Colston, even Michael Thomas. So right now, I'm a little higher on Sutton. I mean, I've been higher on Sutton comparatively to most. I always, I think he's a very solid receiver. I think he's kind of underrated in a lot of ways. I think he had a rough go last year just because of everything going on with Russell. And, I think this will turn around slowly. Judy's a big part of this offense. So the person replacing him is definitely going to be Marvin Mims. Mims has been highly recruited. Everybody loves him. Dulcich, I'm still not sold on him yet. I think everyone has PTSD from last year from Albert O, and everyone's just trying to find the right the right tight end for this group. I mean, shit, it could be Adam Troutman for all we know. So I'm a little bit out on it at this point just because of that. I'm not 100% sure. But right now, I think the bigger questions in Denver are, Javonte Williams. How much is he going to play? They said they're going to ease him in a little bit. Does that mean, P. Ryan is more of a early season type guy where in the first 4 or 5 seasons, we see a huge, push of P. Ryan and then a little bit of Javonte. Then they kind of switch, kind of like what we saw, I think last year or the year before.
Just real quick. Yes, Cadillac, it is Redraft that you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like what we saw with the Bills 2 years ago with Zach Moss and Singletary. You kind of saw this huge increase for Zach Moss or for Singletary in the beginning. Then Zach Moss took over, and then it went right back to Zach Moss near the end. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I think they're going to just it's going to be an ease in, ease out, or ease, all the way through. I think they're just going to give him a little bit of time to kind of just get his feet underneath him because they don't want to hurt. I mean, he's a huge asset for them. He's still young. So I like Javonte Williams, but I can't hold him as my, RB1 or 2. He's more of a 3 if possible, if I go a little heavy RB in the beginning and he's available. I'm trying to see where he's at here. He's okay. He's a QB. He's an RB2 in this for Phil. He has some decent running backs around him too, so you could probably sit him for a couple, weeks to kind of ease him in. So I don't mind that for him. But other than that, yeah, I think Sutton is probably the biggest benefactor of Judy being out. But I think Judy's going to be out until I think the month of September is basically done for him. I think he'll be back beginning of June. I think you should add 2 weeks to this 4 to 6 week timeline.
Okay.
I'm not a medical professional. I don't know what he's dealing with. Anytime stuff like this happens, it just feels like it's going to be a little bit longer than people expect. Always expect, for it to be a little bit worse.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have too much to add on that. I'll just kind of go with the doc says, just something you want to monitor. Just kind of as you were talking about it, I was going back to look at a couple of our mock from our mock tournament. Seen him going, basically kind of around that mid 4th, early 5th round, is where he was, kind of creeping, up closer in that 4th round, over the last couple of weeks, in our mocks. I think, where would you think would be a good spot, for him now? If he was going 4-5, if he's expected to miss, maybe, let's say he misses the first 3 weeks and you're ready to start him maybe week 4, week 5, where would someone like that, where do you feel comfortable drafting him there? How many rounds does he drop? Or are you okay still taking him around that 4-5 turn?
I'm not taking him at all. He's like Bateman to me in that aspect, coming off injury, right. I'd say like 9th round, maybe, like Jameson Williams territory. So anywhere between the 8th and 11th, I think a little bit, if you really feel the need to, to like grab him early, maybe the 7th. But honestly, to me, he's toxic. I'm not going to take it because recovering from hamstring injuries isn't easy, and especially early hamstring injuries, they can linger the whole season, and all you need to do is one misstep and you're done. So,
so he goes 4-11 here to Luke in the 2 spot, which is tough, but yeah. So Cadillac saying Lamar Verbera, what the hell? This is 4-point per passing touchdown. So in that type of format, you are going to see those running quarterbacks get pushed up. Someone like Lamar does have a perceived higher ceiling than someone like Joe Burrow. Whereas if it were 6-point per passing touchdown, then Joe Burrow is pretty much going as your quarterback 4 off the board, but typically going to go about 2 rounds later than the quarterback trio. You even saw Jalen Hurts here fall to the 3rd, which I think is great value here for Brocal at the 3-7. So,
and Burrow went QB6, which is unheard of, to be fair. Him going QB6 is an insult.
Almost,
it really is.
And it was crazy is that Jamar Chase had already taken Josh Allen at 2-11, so he falls to KJ Flint here at the 5-3, which is insane value there. So well done, KJ. Maybe you might be moving on with that. We'll see. So I'll get into a couple other news things here. Not a lot to really talk about. Just kind of going to mention them here. If you have anything to add to it, feel free. But we'll kind of just roll through these so we can get our thoughts on the mock. We have the Colts in Miami that are kind of in discussions in regards to Jonathan Taylor. Apparently there was an offer made and an offer rejected. Apparently there's another team that had made an offer. We didn't hear from who yet. At least I haven't. But Colts have rejected everything so far. I think they'd given him a Tuesday or a Thursday deadline, and we're past that. I haven't really seen too much noise.
I think it's Tuesday this coming week.
Next Tuesday. Okay,
correct.
That makes more sense.
Because that came out on a Thursday or a Wednesday or something like that.
When that came out? Okay.
Yeah, so
I wasn't quite sure. All right.
So 9-7-8 bumps. He keeps saying the Rams. I keep hearing that too. The other team I keep hearing is the Rams. The other team I kept hearing, Minnesota. Someone told me. I remember hearing something about Minnesota. What was the other? Oh no, or was that for Lance? I think that was for Lance.
Yeah, that was for Lance because they had him high on his draft order.
Who was the other guy or the other team?
Remember.
There was another team. Yeah.
We'll move on. That's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll know when he gets signed. But I just wanted to mention it.
The Colts are asking too much on purpose. They're doing this.
They're not going to trade him.
No, they're trying to be passive. They're trying to be like, so go look for your trade. You're going to notice that you're not going to get any, you're not.
Wait, you want it?
Yeah. Teams aren't going to give us what you think you're worth. And you're going to come play for us. And we're going to just kind of ride this out to next year. You're going to be, you're going to be tagged next year.
Yeah.
Well, no, then you're going to get tagged next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll negotiate, then they'll get tagged. And we already know that's what they're doing, especially with these high-end running backs, because then they're going to run them in the ground and then send them on their way. So that's it on the JT front. So again, I'm pretty much someone I'm kind of fading as of right now. I don't want to say completely avoiding, but definitely fading if he lands in the right spot. But usually he's already taken before.
The 4th round.
I feel comfortable. So.
He went in the 4th round, and he was in the 2nd round no more than a couple weeks ago. So honestly, now that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So Alan Lazard dealing with an AC joint injury. That's your shoulder, for those who don't know. It says he's going to be playing week 1, but most likely going to be out this Saturday. You have Panthers wide receiver DJ Chark also dealing with a hamstring injury. Kind of like Judy, he's been out for a while now. Should be ready to go by week 1, but we'll see. But again, that offense is wide open. You mentioned Thielen's production tonight, but they are saying DJ Chark is going to be that big play threat. So again, like a more in best ball if you can late. But in those late rounds, looking for a potential wide receiver 1, at least the opportunity is there versus some of the other picks you can get in that range. Then you got the Cardinals trading for Browns QB Josh Dobbs after he was apparently released on waivers. And then they actually ended up trading him and keeping somebody else or something like that. I don't know. They did a weird little thing with their quarterbacks over there. But either way, Josh Dobbs going to the Cardinals. Yeah, and then also traded away linebacker Isaiah Simmons to your New York Giants for only a 7th round pick. He's a stud at the linebacker position. Pretty much shows you it's a full-on tank season now. If you didn't think it was before, I doubt you're going to see Kyler Murray play this year.
I'm not seeing Kyler.
So, when they're doing moves like this, they're retooling and gearing up for next year. They still haven't named a starting QB for week 1 yet. But I don't see Kyler Murray playing. So I don't want to say quite yet. I told you so in regards to all those Kyler Murray truthers. But I've been saying it since the beginning that I'm not touching him. The writing was on the wall, and now you're starting to see that come to fruition. So maybe one thing I was right about. I'm not going to sit here and toot my horn, but this was definitely something. There was too much red tape out there to not kind of see it coming if that ends up what happening. So that's all I got for as far as news now compared to, from what happened between Monday and now. Of course, Frank and I will be back on Monday to go over our Monday overreaction based on the rest of how the preseason plays out throughout the weekend. And as we gear up and start switching gears to get ready for start sits for week 1. So yeah. So what do we got in the chat here? I know
Cadillac's asking, could I go 0 RB in an 8-man league?
I wouldn't. You want stud players, like if you can get CMC up top and stuff like that. I mean, I would just let the draft come to you in 8-man. Yeah. There's no reason to really have just take best player available. That's what you want in those kind of leagues. Fill out your starters. You don't really need bench. There's going to be plenty of guys on the waiver wire. Also depends on, your scoring settings, full PPR, half PPR, standard. That how many guys you're starting and all that, but I don't think you really need to go 0 RB in an 8-man. That's not necessarily where you want to do that.
So we got Wilson going. How do you feel on Tony being drafted in the 12th round? I think everybody knows how I feel about it.
Yeah, Tony's for me just I want to say he's kind of like on my avoid list. Like he's not even someone I'm fading. Like I see his name and I pass right by it. Like he needs to show me something he could stay on the field first. Fantasy football is hard enough with guys you think are ready to go, like Jerry Jeudy, and then he gets hurt, and now you're in this situation. So and you already have a guy that's kind of labeled injury prone, like he's already hurt, had surgery. 3 games
in 2 years.
Yeah, and so it's just like, I understand the excitement's there. If you can get him at what you perceive value, great. But to me, he's just someone I'd rather. There's plenty of other people in that area where he's going that I'd rather take a shot on than Tony right now. In addition to a lot of the counterparts on the same team, Rashee Rice, Justin Ross, even Sky Moore. Like I'll take a shot on one of those 3 before I pull the trigger on Tony. So
yeah, and if you look at his usage, like everyone keeps going on like about Tony and being explosive and all this stuff. Look at the usage in the games that he played in. He played like 12 snaps in those 4 games, or the 3 games that he had, I think. So yeah, it was 3 games last season, or 7 games in that, and he barely touched the ball. Like, I don't know. I've never been high on the guy. I was really upset. Yeah, he had 1 big game for the Giants.
He had 1 big drive. Like it was a series. Like it was like 5 specific plays, and then everyone's still going crazy off of that.
And he's still dealing with the knee injury too. Like there was a report 9 days ago that he's still dealing with the knee injury. It's just, I don't know. Like I agree with you. You have to aim for the other guys. I think the main guy that you need to look for in drafts, if you can, is Rashee Rice. I keep hearing multiple people everywhere is Rashee Rice. He's the guy that you should be targeting everywhere.
There you go. And even 9078 Bumps is even saying even MVS. I'm pretty much saving MVS, but yeah. And he said, MVS, Ross and Moore over Tony. So yeah, that's what I'm saying too, man.
MVS, if you can get him really, really cheap in like Dynasty big benches. Like I have him in a 25-man Dynasty league. I have 25 spots. I have MVS for like $2. Like I'll do that, but otherwise in redraft, I don't want anything like other than Rashee Rice. Like he's going pretty much in most drafts. He's going undrafted. So you could pretty much pick him up at the very end if you want. Sky Moore's the other guy. Sky Moore looks good as well. They talk about him like he's going to be the main target He basically is replacing Mecole Hardman from last year. And as we saw in the beginning of the season for Mecole Hardman, I mean, he looked good last year. I think that Sky Moore and Rice have the ability to do real well in this offense, as anybody would. So I think that's probably one of the harder things to figure out is the Chiefs' backfield and who's going to be running the damn ball. If you had to take a guess right now, who would you be picking as the lead rusher within the first
rusher or running back? Because that's a very specific question.
I want to go lead rusher because I understand
if it's a rusher, Pacheco. If there's the running back I want to own in that backfield, it's McKinnon.
And CH Clyde.
He's a dart throw. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think you need to draft him. Someone you can keep an eye on, put him on your watch list. Okay. And he might be on one of our waiver wire shows coming up here as we get going, maybe as soon as week 1, depending on how that all shakes out. But I think Pacheco showed to me, Pacheco showed better than what CH has kind of shown as a pure rusher. And, we've seen what McKinnon can do in the passing game and just in that backfield with limited touches and limited roles. So, that's where I'm going with that. So,
no, that's fair.
Let's see. We have, you want to go over the mock here real quick? I guess we took a little too long. I thought we'd only be halfway done by the time we got through the news and notes. We spent a little extra time on that. But
do you want to answer Brokaw?
Oh, what do you say?
So he goes week 1, Scott Fishbowl scoring. Who would you play, Gabe Davis or Sky Moore? Too soon?
Well, too soon. I'm not doing start sit right now, especially Scott Fishbowl scoring.
I'm not gonna. I will say
I don't even know who the matchups are right off the top of my head, but
we know
you got 2 guys that the top two quarterbacks. So just pick whoever you drafted higher. Start that guy first, and then see how it all plays out.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably drafted them one after the other, and they're right next to each other.
Well, that's what I said. So whichever one you drafted first, then start that guy first, and then see what happens from there.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can really do at this point. I mean, they're
for sure. We don't have any data. We don't know, especially with guys like that. They don't have a. They don't have
Davis
a
is
set
playing
rule.
The Jets. Sky's playing the Lions. So I think Sky, if you really want to, I'm just throwing that as a very early
start sit. Yeah. But come back to us, man, on Wednesday, and we'll have that. We'll be ready to answer that then.
Yeah.
On September 6th, Wednesday, September 6th, on our waiver. What are we going to do?
Waivers.
What do we call it? It'll be our Thursday.
Well, that'll just be your Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be our
Friday.
Because it's normally like trade and roster management, but it's week 1, so we kind of ease into that. It might be just 3 or 4 straight days of, or not 3 or 4, but 2 or 3 straight shows of just start sit. Wednesday, Thursday. So as we're getting ready for week 1. So he says, cool. I'll ask again September 6th. We'll be here. All right. So let's go over these teams real quick. We'll just kind of give you some quick insights on like builds, kind of what we're looking for. Of course, we'll go through it here over the weekend and announce the actual top 3 that'll be joining the other 9 for the finale on September 1st. So we'll again announce those winners on Monday when Frank and I are here for the overreaction show and the announcement. But let's start off here in the 1 spot with Tycoon. Do you want to go team by team, or would you rather kind of go round by round and do more like that? I think I prefer to go just by a full team.
Yeah, full team works.
If I have a preference, So we'll start here with Tycoon. In the 1 spot, he goes Justin Jefferson, Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, then grabs Chris Godwin. Goes Breece Hall as his RB3 in the 5th, Deshaun Watson in the 6th, Jordan Addison in the 7th. Stacks with the 2 Minnesota guys there. Njoku here in the 8th. You get Quentin Johnson in the 9th, Tyler Algier in the 10th, Jalen Warren in the 11th, Zay Jones in the 12th, Marvin Mims in the 13th, and Mechie here in the 14th. So kind of like a balanced type build, a little kind of like modified double hero RB, or even you can consider it robust RB, considering he got 3 running backs in his first 5 picks. Doesn't get his 3rd wide receiver until the 7th, and he shares the same quarterback or on the same team as his wide receiver 1 without Christian Kirk on this one. So I don't know how I quite feel about it. A couple things I don't like. Breece is still okay, I think, where he got him.
Well,
I kind of like how he finished here. He has his RB3. I like his bench. I kind of like his bench almost more than his starters in this one, which
Too
is
rookie
interesting.
heavy.
But
Too
yeah,
rookie heavy in my opinion.
a little bit. Got a lot of tickets.
I count Mechie as a rookie because he wasn't around last year.
Yeah. So
So
there you go. So that's all I'll say on Tycoon's team. Why don't you go ahead and read off Luke's team here?
So Luke goes with Jamar Chase to start us off. Then he goes Josh Allen, Jamar Gibbs. Then he goes Jerry Jeudy, Ken Walker, Kyle Pitts. Then goes with Marquise Brown, Brian Robinson, Rashad Bateman, Damian Harris, Kadarius Toney, who we talked about before, Sam Laporta, Jeff Wilson, and KJ Osborne to round out his last pick. Build is okay. I understand it. Unfortunately, to me, there's a lot of volatility with this particular team. Usually when you have, like, I don't mind risk for teams, but when you throw a ton of risk, it just makes it not worth it, in my opinion. You have Jeudy, who we understand is hurt currently. He's going to be out for a limited time. I do think he'll be out, for at least 4 weeks into the season. That's just my opinion. Marquise Brown going with a unknown QB at this point. We have no idea what's going on with him. Rashad Bateman is on a team that loves to run the ball comparatively to throw it. And
but they've changed. You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, he's also
I'm going to back my boy Bateman. I can't let you do that.
I know, but he's coming off a Liz Frank injury as well, which is not easy to do. And he had a rough go in the beginning. He's still
what you
recovering.
said about Travis Etienne, and look what he did.
Well, they play different positions and they're different people. Anyway, Kadarius Toney, also one of those particular people that is recovering from a knee injury, like we said before. So
I agree with you there.
So you have at least three guys coming off bad injuries. For me, I would rather have gone in these particular scenarios, probably with, Mike Evans at that point. Let me see the full board. I would have gone with Dotson at, around Brown. I would have gone even Pittman, who I'm low on. I'd still be okay with going him. At that,
I just don't see three wide receivers that I feel comfortable with starting on this team, and it's 3 wide receiver and a flex.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Luke probably not going to make my top 6 just on a quick hitter, but we'll see how the rest of these teams go. So I don't want to go too long of a breakdown. We're going to do it all on Monday.
Right,
I just kind of want to go quick. I know you're not going to be here,
I don't
so
get
I know.
to be here, so I get to
I know.
my piece.
That's why I let you go. But I got to reel you in a little bit.
Understood.
So we got KJ Flint here in the 3 spot. He goes Christian McCaffrey. Again, this is half PPR, 1 QB, 4 point per passing touchdown. He goes Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Smith, Calvin Ridley, Brandon Ayuk. Gets his 3 starters in there with his hero RB build. Goes Joe Burrow, who we were talking about. Great value here in the 5th.
Oh, very good value.
Mike Williams as his wide receiver 4 or flex there. So not bad. I don't mind taking him there. You get Rashad White, who you guys know I'm big on. One of my favorite targets in my hero RB build. Followed by Antonio Gibson, then grabs his tight end. One of those kind of mid, tight ends, Pat Fairmouth, where you're not, in that streaming territory. You pretty much feel comfortable just dealing with whatever results he gives you week to week. You're going to start him pretty much every week, set it and forget it. Then he goes Tank Bigsby and Quandre Miller as some potential backups, handcuffs here. Then rounds it out with Rondale Moore, DJ Chark, and then grabs a guy that we don't see too much here in Mike Wilson. Who's gonna looks like he might be starting opposite of Hollywood Brown. I don't know about that pick, just because he is 6'2", 213, young guy. He's decent, but if we don't like Hollywood, I'm definitely not liking a guy behind him. So
I like him more in best ball.
They might just be punt all day on that offense. I don't know if they'll really be able to move the ball. So we'll see how it goes. But again, it's the last pick, not too big of a deal. Overall, I do like the build as a hero RB. So we'll move on. Let's go to Breaking Ball.
Sure. So Breaking Ball starts off with Austin Eckler, then goes with Jalen Waddle, goes to Najee Harris right after that, goes to Drake London, goes J.K. Dobbins, George Pickens, then goes Dallas Goedert, goes with Zay Flowers just after that in the 8th round, goes Jamal Williams in the 9th, then goes Alan Lazard. Then goes with a Jamal Williams in the 11th, goes Daniel Jones in the 12th, going with that late QB, and then goes I'm gonna get his name wrong.
Roshan. You got
Roshan.
it.
Okay, I thought I was gonna get it
You're
wrong.
good.
Roshan
That was
Johnson.
good. Yeah.
And then Zamir White to round out the rest of his team. Not a bad build. I understand it. I do like the balance. I'm always a little bit more privy to balance than I am to going, one extreme or the other. I do like Daniel Jones as your late round pick. Overall, the team doesn't have anything, any huge question marks that I have other than Jameis Williams, but you're getting him as your last wide receiver. So that doesn't.
And
Really
you're
matter.
bigger on Najee than I think the three of us
Yeah.
are, or at least
Yeah.
Frank and I know he and I aren't too big on Najee.
I am very high on
And
him.
and I just don't like, the Harris and Pickens, double up there. You got Zay Flowers and Dobbins. So when you start kind of looking at it real close, there's some things I can pick. Sometimes, when we come to this and we're trying to rank 1 through 6 or 1 through 12, it comes down to these little things,
I agree.
that we're looking at. Maybe in 30 seconds as you're making your pick, you can't really tell these things, and you're kind of just looking for the best opportunity in that moment. But that's why we say, have an idea of how you want to draft and who you're drafting. Exactly. So, you have to go there. Sometimes you have to do it.
I drafted Lawrence and then Ridley, and then was like, you know what?
Ingram.
I'm going to draft Ingram.
But that's okay. At least you have the trio with the quarterback. I just don't like second running back, wide receiver as much.
I hate doing that.
I did Charbonnet and JSN, or Charbonnet and Lockett in one of the listener leagues too. So I wasn't happy about myself for that, but I really needed a running back, and Sharbs was the best guy
I did Nico Collins
on the board. So
I did Nico Collins and Damian Pierce. So I mean, it's one of those things where I know there's going to be situations where I'm not going to be playing them the same time, but it's one of those I just like having the guy on my team because I don't want someone else having him. So.
Right. It could always trade. It is redraft, so you can always trade and do stuff later. But yeah. So again, there we go. I don't know how I feel about the team quite yet, but of course I'll let you know on Monday. Breaking ball. But again, appreciate you jumping in last minute. Again, sorry, Spitta, but the show must go on. I gave you till like 5 minutes after even, so I really tried. So we got Lord of Fancy here out of the 6th spot, going with the Kelsey build. So he goes Kelsey, Olave, T. Higgins, D Hop. So grabs his tight end and 3 top wide receivers. Really like this team so far. Miles Sanders is his RB1 here. Goes Dak Prescott. Might have went a little early.
You're doing.
I skipped over a whole team, huh? Yeah. Shaw Dog. All right, sorry about that, fans. We'll get to it later. I guess I got excited about the Kelsey build there. My eyes got attracted to it. So Shaw Dog, I'm sorry to skip you, my guy. So we got Shaw Dog in here going at the 105, going Tyreek Hill, 3rd wide receiver off the board. Grabs Mahomes here at the 208. Then he goes Travis Etienne, followed by Deebo Samuel as his wide receiver 2. Grabs his tight end and Hawkinson, tight end 3 off the board. Here in the 5th goes James Conner as his RB2. Gets his 3rd starting receiver in Mike Evans. His first bench running back is going to be Zach Charbonnet. You get Jackson Jigma, who's dealing with that wrist fracture. Yep. Here as his wide receiver 4 in the 9th, followed by Ezekiel Elliott, now with your New England Patriots. Not yours or mine, just mine. The royal you, New England Patriots. Here in the 10th, Romeo Dobbs, nice pick here in the 11th, gets Aaron Rodgers in the 12th, Tyler Higbee, who I like, and the 13th could be the 2nd leading target getter in that offense, and then rounds it out with Justin Ross. To kind of stack with Mahomes there with his last pick. So love that correlation that he did there. Not too many picks I kind of disagree with here. Yeah, I'd have to say on first pass, it would be at least top 6 probably for me. We'll see exactly where he dials in on Monday. So you can go ahead and read off Fance's team since I kind of have it already.
Well, you
unless there's anything you wanted to add on Shaw Dog. Yeah.
Well, I'll say on Shaw Dog, the only thing that for me, having ETN as my RB1, I just don't feel as comfortable as I used to be. For now, I feel like for him, he's more of RB2. Make sure you guys check out my segment that I do with the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. It's coming out Wednesday, I think, next week. It's going to be about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So take a look at that and why I'm a little bit low on Travis Etienne at the moment. But other than that, everything else, I have no arguments with. And, I'm going to take a hard look at it during the weekend. Lord of Fanta, we're gonna he starts with Travis Kelce as his 106. Then we go with Chris Olave. In the second round goes T. Higgins, then DeAndre Hopkins, who seems to be climbing up boards lately. Miles Sanders right after that with Dak Prescott, Alvin Kamara, Khalil Herbert in the 8th, Elijah Mitchell in the 9th, goes Adam Thielen in the 10th, then goes Tua Tagovailoa in the 11th, and then Jalen Hyatt in the 12th, Tajay Spears in the 13th, and then Tank Dell to round out at the very end in round 14. Overall, I like the build for essentially a 0 RB type build. Probably not the QBs I'd go with, but Tua, getting him a little bit later is fine. I like Tua a little more than Dak Prescott.
Agreed.
That's just, it's a preference thing. He didn't even go drafted in my home league, which I thought was pretty funny. But beyond that, I mean, having Sanders as your 0 RB build and then Kamara a little later, Herbert, hopefully can, keep that spot and be, I mean, they're going to be rotating 3 backs, so it's a little tough to tell at the moment. So I don't hate the build. I just think there's, it's a tad weak in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's just how I feel.
Nice. For me, I liked it up until the Dak Prescott pick. I think he needs to go wide receiver there. Give me like George Pickens, Addison, even Evans, even Dotson. Any of those wide receivers that went after that instead of Prescott, because you could see how you still got Tua here late. Had the options of Tua, Geno, Kirk Cousins still.
I would even
Jones, Aaron Rodgers.
Even Watson, I would have been okay. Like Watson there would have been fine. Prescott just ruined it for me.
Yeah, and I just think, you could have got a totally different build out of that.
And it's not a Cowboys thing. It's just
it has nothing to do with that. I just think it was a little early for Dak, and like you said, he did go ahead of Watson, but and then no quarterback until Anthony Richardson here in the 9th, and then really no quarterback until he took Tua in the 11th. So basically, only 2 quarterbacks went 5 rounds, between him getting Prescott. So I just think, I don't want to say it was a wasted pick. I just think he, again, if you're thinking out, later, and again, this is why you want to mock. Understand what quarterbacks are available later. If you're not getting one of those like top tier, or even second tier quarterbacks, and you're just getting kind of a middling guy, a Dak Prescott's basically available around, 8, 9, 10. You don't have to kind of waste that pick, especially when wide receivers dry out. Yes. So it's like, you go 3 wide receivers here, which is great, but then your replacement receivers, Adam Thielen, I just think that's too many picks in between. And kind of missing out on that receiver right before that dead zone, which is why you had to hammer Kamara, Herbert, Mitchell, because some of the wide receivers there were a little suspect. But I think that's where the one spot I would have done something a little different. But otherwise, still might make my top 6, but it might be on the lower end of that. But we'll see. So we'll go on to Brokeout here. We'll try to get out of here. I try to stay under an hour, but we're going to go a little over. We got Brokeout here going with Saquon Barkley, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts, 1, 2, 3. Follows it up with DJ Moore. You get George Kittle, Deontay Johnson, Johan Dotson, AJ Dillon, Samaje Perine, Devon Achane, Rashee Rice, Dalton Schultz, Van Jefferson, and Deontay Foreman. So as far as this build goes, your typical hero RB gets his elite quarterback, gets elite onesie positions, or gets him out of the way. Elite quarterback, mid, tight end here in Kittle. Yeah. I've seen him go anywhere, like from the 4th to like the 9th. Just really depends on the draft and who you're with. Receiving core, pretty solid to me. Wilson, Moore, Johnson, Dotson, Rashee Rice, Van Jefferson. Love all those picks there. Love these potential RB2s. One of my probably top teams, just looking at it right now, probably top 3 here, Brokeout.
I kind of
we'll see.
I'm at that point where I was good until Dotson, and everything kind of fell apart with some of the running backs for me. Herbert would have made me feel a little bit better. I probably would have took Herbert over Dillon, but I would have probably picked Gibson over Dillon. Dillon, I love you as a player. I understand. It's just for fantasy wise, I don't know what's going to happen with the Packers. I just don't feel comfortable in that offense yet and seeing how it's going to, turn out. So that's why I haven't really been on Dylan that much. But everyone else, okay, P. Ryan, could work out. A-Chain. I can see a path for him being well. I probably would have taken Tank Bigsby at that point, or someone, after that, or Tyler
Jalen Warren, maybe.
Jalen Warren. Yeah. Or even Singletary. Like all those guys at that point, those 3 running backs that he paired with it, it's hard to see because everything else I loved. Every single pick. All the wide receivers, the where he got Hurts, where he got Kittle, where he even his late round guys, just everybody for the wide receivers I loved, except for the running backs. Everything else.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So we'll see where it ends up on your list. But well done, bro, Cal. I don't know. I saw you kind of bringing up some comments. I don't know which one they were, but I'll start with this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said I'll be checking in for sure. Classic Mike, interested in your take on Kirk this year. I assume that's Christian Kirk or Kirk Cousins. So define your Kirk.
Number 2 in that offense.
Okay. Define your Kirk.
Yeah, Christian Kirk.
It could be Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
No, he
doesn't have Kirk on his team.
I was talking about the Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
got it.
Kirk.
Oh, and the dad bod thing. Okay. So Dim Boy's saying, don't let Junior hear you talking bad about two. I wasn't talking bad about two. I was kind of more talking bad about Dak.
Yeah, we're talking good about
I don't know if you guys are more offended. Yeah, I was saying he didn't need Dak because he got to a lot, way later, and I would have rather just went with him there.
Right,
so, and again, shout out to Dim Boy's Junior, man, holding it down, the reigning champ in our Get Right Fantasy Listener League. Son of Dim Boys Senior here. Gonna have to change his name to Dim Boys Senior to differentiate here by Dim Boys Junior because the champ is in that household and it's not Senior. So shout out to Dim Boys Junior. So we got Brooks in here saying, "What's up, gentlemen? 7 rings in the house. How's it going, Brooks? Good to have you here, man." He said, "Is A-Chain worth drafting in redraft?" Based on his recent preseason camp, he's worth kind of a shot because you know with them talking about how they're in the hunt for Cook, they're trying to trade for JT. Obviously, they're not happy with Mostert and Wilson. Maybe there's an opportunity for A-Chain. He is one of the fastest, running backs in the combine. They just have a fast team. Didn't show too well. Dealing with a couple nagging little injuries. So his stock has kind of dropped a little bit for me, but he's definitely worth taking. I'd probably take him a little later here, but I guess, if you want to get him, he's probably going to go in about that double-digit range. But yeah, I think anything, anywhere after 10, depending on your build, I don't mind taking a shot on him.
It's based on price for him. I like him. I think he'll do fine. I just honestly, I think it's something about his, like we just said, he's undersized to the point where we're starting to, even just preseason, we're seeing a little bit of nagging injuries. So we'll see.
Yeah, even left practice for a little while, came back too. So Dustin's here. What's up, Dustin? Saying Sheesh Junior for president. So Dim Boys Junior for president. Reigning champ. There it is. Yes, Brooks is saying 2 is the 4th best QB in the AFC. No denying that. Or AFC East. No denying that. I don't think you could get any better, right?
Yeah.
It's in last place. Well said. Well said, Brooks. He's a Patriots fan, so he's not going to show to any love.
Yeah.
Low carb adventure in here saying breaking ball rules. I assume this is breaking ball, possibly here. So
I doubt it, but we'll see.
Saying nice draft. So we'll see. Let us know if this is truly the man, the myth, the legend. But we'll move on here. Try to finish up. We got Uno Gas here. Drafted in the 8th spot. Is it your turn or my turn on this one?
My turn. So he drafted Cooper Kupp in the 8th spot, goes with Derrick Henry on his way back, then goes with DK Metcalf right after that, Dameon Pierce, Christian Watson in the 5th, then goes Cam Akers right after that, Evan Ingram in the 7th, goes Brandon Cooks in the 8th, then grabs Anthony Richardson in the 9th. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Then he goes Jerick McKinnon in the 10th, Geno Smith in the 11th, goes Chig in the 12th, and then
you weren't going to go for the last name? I thought you were going to go for it.
Gonna try.
Conquo? You could have had it. It's an easy one.
Conquo, yeah, but I know his first name is longer, so I never try.
Yeah, no, I don't even try that one.
No, I usually just go Chig.
There you go.
And after that, he goes Jaden Reed and Jerome Ford. Jesus Christ. Anyway, love the build. I am pretty happy with this team. I'm still trying to question why you would draft Anthony Richardson above guys like
It's just
Geno
where he's
Smith.
going. But I think if you do it, you take a guy like Geno right behind.
You have
and you have to do that. And I think that's what makes the upside play there by taking him a little earlier. So I don't mind that at all, actually.
No, well, for me,
it's done right.
I'm not a big fan of if I'm going to draft a guy, I'm going to draft the guy that I want and then a backup much, much later, like in my, Jerome Ford area. Like in my home league, I had Burrow and I drafted Geno real late in a 1.
Yeah, but that's different. That's way different. If you're spending that draft capital on Burrow, you're not doing that. When you take somebody late like this and Anthony Richardson, you wait on QB because you're going for that top 5 upside, potential. And then you get a nice solid guy, top 15 type guy right in behind him. And I think that's the way you do it in a 1 QB league.
I would have went Sutton or any of the other people that were available at that point, just because I'd rather have another player like that and then Geno, and I think that you would have been fine. I'm not saying that.
And he got the stack with Metcalf.
Yeah,
you did it right, Uno Gas. I got your back.
Oh no, no. Let's just be clear. This is probably one of my favorite teams. My whole point is that I would have done it a little bit differently. That's all.
No, yeah, that's all. That's all we're trying to say.
Nothing crazy.
Brocal saying, yeah, he considered Monty over Dotson. I'm glad you consider it, but you made the right choice. So, as much as I love Monty, I still think you made the right choice.
Monty.
So nothing else to add on that. I just wanted to say that about the quarterback situation. I think he did that right. So if you guys are looking to do that, if you are Anthony Richardson guy and you do get him, just make sure you do get someone like Geno a round or 2 later. You're going to kind of have to double up on that position pretty closely. Just to have that security there. And you're probably starting Geno week 1 just to kind of see how Anthony Richardson, starts to pop off. So, but he could be a league winner by the end of the year. So, so not bad. So we'll move on to Jay Baloney here. In the 9 spot, he goes Bijan Robinson at the 109, followed by Devontae Adams. Grabs Mark Andrews here in the 3rd. He's the one who gets Jonathan Taylor here in the 4th. Grabs Justin Fields here in the 5th. Then hits all his receivers and Christian Kirk, Michael Pittman, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Treylon Burks. Then he goes Rashad Penny, Raheem Mostert, Dalton Kincaid, Kenneth Gainwell, and rounds it out here with Mooney to stack with Fields. So I don't know how I feel quite about this team. I like kind of the start, but I'm still just not an Andrews guy. It's hard to build a team with Andrews here. I don't mind Justin Fields. Christian Kirk is kind of, now they're all bumped up because you took Taylor. Might not even be able to use week 1. We'll see. I don't like Rashad Penny as my wide receiver or running back 3. He's like on the bubble, potentially being cut. Then you got Raheem Mostert, who they're, basically Miami's trying to trade for every other running back besides just letting him have the job.
Yeah.
Takes Dalton Kincaid. I don't mind. Kenny Gainwell.
I like here.
I like that pick. Yeah, absolutely. And then at least Mooney, he gets the stack.
Yeah. No, he's hedging the bet on Mooney, but that's all.
Yeah.
I'm not big on Mooney either, but if for price and where you can get him in the 14th or as a free agent, honestly,
I'd still rather have Justin Ross there. You could have had Justin Ross. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for Justin Ross. I'm like John Mechie and a couple of these other guys.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know. All right. So there you go, Jay Bloney. Go ahead, get into Mason's team. We'll try to get out of here soon.
Yeah, so Mason goes with Stephon Diggs.
What's up, Ron? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. We got a lot of people watching right now. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button for us. I better see like 15, 20 likes on this thing at least, man. Help us out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. All right, go ahead. How to get that in there.
Oh, no, you're good. You got Stephon Diggs in the 1st round, Tony Pollard.
Absolutely, J. Ross over MVS. Sorry.
Yes, J. Ross over MVS.
My bad. I won't
Joe
say
Mixon in the 3rd. No, you're good. Then you got Justin Herbert in the 4th, goes Darren Waller in the 5th, Terry McLaurin in the 6th, David Montgomery in the 7th, going Gabe Davis, Cortland Sutton, and Elijah Moore in the 10th. Then goes Devin Singletary, Jonathan Mingo, Chuba Hubbard, and Luke Musgrave. I don't get the obsession with Hubbard, but I understand just because of the Miles Sanders injury, he's the next up, so I get it. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard. Like, I don't hate this team. I think that it has a lot of potential. So it is definitely one of the higher teams on my list.
You said it was one of the higher or
Yeah.
not the highest team?
One of my higher teams.
Oh, okay.
I just from the build, just the way that it played out, I to me, it's definitely on the higher side.
Yeah, for me, it has a chance. It's kind of more middle range for me. Started off nice, but I just, I mean, I understand Waller there's good. I know Tycoon likes Waller. He even didn't take him there over Brees in the fifth. Just
Mhm.
might have been a little early. He might have got, hung up on that little tight end run with Hawkinson and Kittle both going there.
Yeah, you could have got him in the 6th.
Could have probably waited on that turn, to go around there. A lot of guys still, I think, available in that spot. I'm not really dedicating a draft pick to a tight end that early. Just my personal preference on builds. And then I'm just not that big on Terry McLaurin. We've talked about that. Then he grabs his third running back before his third wide receiver in a 3 wide receiver build. I just don't think that's smart personally. But again, I don't mind the actual player himself because now you're just mixed with a hodgepodge of guys here for your wide receiver 3 and flex every week. Or you're forced to start David Montgomery there, which again could be okay. But it just doesn't make me feel comfortable with those wide receivers with Davis, Sutton, Eli Moore, and Mingo. I mean, I like them individually, just not kind of all together in this build, if that makes any sense. So yeah, but we'll see where it kind of compares overall when I really start diving into it. So we'll get into Cherry Poppins here.
So go ahead. Jeff said, in hindsight, I would have taken a running back instead of Pittman in round 7. I thought one running back I liked would have fallen back to the 8th. Oh, that's understood. That happens to everybody. I thought if anything, he was looking for James Cook, I'd say either James.
He
Cook
could have got Demont. He could have got Demont right there. Yeah, James.
Yeah,
Cook.
No. That was my whole point. I think.
Yeah.
By the way he was building, because I was watching it as it was going, and when I saw Cook go off the board, I thought that Brocal was in that boat too. I thought that Brocal was waiting for James Cook to come back around after that Dotson pick to like solidify his running back group.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where the end of this group kind of took everything that the middle of the group was waiting for.
Right.
But that's just me. Ronald, he has a nagging injury right now. I think it was a hamstring. He should be okay for week 1. It just, once you're hurt in the preseason, it's just hard to come back from. We had them boys in the house right here going hello, or them boys Jr. saying hi. Brooks,
what up, them boys Jr.? The champ is in the building. Liking
the Trey Lance trade, saying that you guys got a franchise quarterback.
He's talking to Junior. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then Mason comes in and says, if they took the RBs instead, I would have grabbed Dotson or Pittman instead of Monty. Way more wide receivers went than thought that they would. So yeah, I completely agree 100%. I think it's one of those things where you have to be fluid and kind of go with what's going on the board. We got Wilson going, Dalvin or James Cook first? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to ask you.
I'll take James Cook just because he doesn't have Brees behind him.
Yeah.
And that's my only reason.
Yeah. I like James Cook.
But it's Brees could come and take over. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll take James Cook. And he was saying, I was hoping James Cook would come back. And he basically got RB sniped there because no RBs went off the board after Cook. So
yeah.
All right, so let's we'll try to finish up here.
Cherry
we got Cherry Poppin'. Is that you or me?
Me. Or no, wait.
Me? You. Oh yeah, because then you finish off. I started. I'm odd number. You're even number.
Yes.
All right, so we got Cherry Poppin' here. Poppins here. Excuse our you have to forget we're live. You can't. Got Mr. Cherry here. Here at the 11th spot. You got to be careful with some of these names. So we got Cherry here in the 11th spot, going CeeDee Lamb, Nick Chubb, Keenan Allen, Aaron Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Lockett, Dalvin Cook, James Cook. He gets both Cooks. Forget about which one goes first. He took both of them. Odell Beckham, Tyler Boyd, Cole Kmet, Nico Collins, Deuce Vaughn, and Chris Brown. or Chase Brown. I'm sorry, Chris Brown,
Mhm.
the singer, rapper, whatever you call him. So I mean, he had me all excited through James Cook, and then as soon as it hit Beckham, then the whole thing, besides Nico Collins and maybe Deuce Vaughn, kind of went wah wah to me. I think he had a strong top half of this draft, but I don't think it finished out right. What are your kind of quick thoughts on this one?
That's kind of where I'm at. Same concept. So
Okay, fair enough. So we'll see where he ends up on that one. We'll have to see how it kind of compares as a whole. Pillsbury Throwboy here in the 12 spot, which the 12 spot's been yielding a lot of people who advance with us here. So we'll have to ask KJ on those exact numbers. But you got Pillsbury Throwboy here going double tap in the wide receiver position in AJ. Or I'm sorry, it's you. Your even numbers. Go ahead.
Going Brown.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're going good. I said it right there. You're going AJ Brown, then going Amon St. Brown, then you're going with Lamar Jackson, Amari Cooper. Goes Alexander Madison, Javonte Williams, then goes with DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, goes Mike Thomas, Sky Moore, then gets his backup QB with Kirk Cousins, Jacoby Myers right after that, Greg Dulcich, and Juwan Johnson to round out his last pick. Don't hate the build. Couple of really nice pieces, couple of pieces that I don't like at all. Overall, not a horrible build.
Point them out to us. Which ones don't you like at all? More importantly,
I'm not a big.
Like.
I'm just not on board with Michael Thomas. I am not. I know you're getting him as your wide receiver 4, so that makes it a little bit better. But at the end of the day, just not on board with it. We all know how I feel about Lamar Jackson as a whole. In redraft, just not a fan, but I understand it. But at that pick, why not? You're not losing much from it. And, you grabbed, I think you have one of the stronger, I'd say one of the top 3 wide receiving cores as a whole. Running back core, unfortunately, is a little bit light. But like I said in the beginning, at this point, you have that ability to kind of throw in Swift and Pacheco in the meantime till Williams gets up to speed. And then you're going to have a lights out, running back group mid-season. So honestly, it's not a horrible build. I do like it. It's definitely one of my top builds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in that upper 6 for me as well.
Agreed.
I don't mind taking the risk there with Javonte, like you said, as your RB2 in this type of build. Yeah. He did double tap the running backs next. So my only thing, I might have went, James Cook instead of Pacheco, but really all those options between Swift, Pacheco, and Cook, really any 2 of those I think would have been fine. The running back as a group as a whole is a little suspect, but I think he has 3 solid wide receivers up top. Potential breakout guy there. I don't want to say breakout, but you know what I mean in regards to Mike Thomas. I know you don't like him as much. I'm okay with him more as my wide receiver 5 or 6. I'd prefer to have him as, but you're kind of taking a chance there. Yeah. And then I just don't like, the Sky Moore and Pacheco. That's why, hindsight, I'd rather have seen Cook go off the board if Sky Moore is someone that you are looking to target later. Again, that's just when getting in these mocks, understanding what players are going to be available to you in certain spots, and just having an idea of what that player pool is going to be. And if that's one of your targets, then make sure you adjust for that up top, and vice versa. Love that he waited on tight end here late. Got a little backup quarterback there with Cousins, which is nice in case Jackson does miss time being a running quarterback and susceptible to injuries. Yeah, hasn't finished a season in the last 2 years. So I don't mind having that backup there. So probably top, maybe mid to lower top 6. But we'll see. So not bad at all. So that's the conclusion here of our mock. We got Jeff saying, what are your thoughts about taking a QB and a tight end early in drafts after this build? I'm really not a fan. Unless it's Kelsey, it's great or late. So I don't mind taking that early QB. But I don't like doing early QB and early tight end. That's not Travis Kelsey. Even if it is Andrews here in the 3rd, I know other people are okay with it because maybe you like, different receivers later. But I just think where you kind of mainly went wrong is that Jonathan Taylor pick. Like if that was another wide receiver and you just went hero RB with Bijan up top, since you invested, that is your first round pick, I think grabbing, someone like Hopkins, DJ Moore there instead of JT, may not outproduce him totally. And maybe he plays all 16 games and I'm completely wrong there. You know, and again, maybe you made the right choice there, but because you went tight end early, it kind of just messed up everything. I don't want to say messed up everything. It sounds pretty harsh, but it kind of forced you to have to go wide receivers late, which you still got some decent ones. But it just didn't really kind of hurt you because you missed out on a lot of those running backs. You were kind of zagging while other people were zigging, and it wasn't like in the good way. It was almost like in response, almost like a responsive zagging instead of kind of doing it to get out ahead and make up ground. You were kind of doing it and getting away from it. So
I agree. I agree to a point. I mean, getting Andrews where he did in the third round, I don't mind. I would have switched the QBs instead of going Fields. I would have gone Trevor Lawrence, just because. I mean, I'm not even going with the stack with Kirk. It was just the concept that I just have Lawrence higher on my board. Beyond that, Taylor, I don't disagree to a point. Like if you went more or one of the other wide receivers or even Dameon Pierce there, I might have liked this build a little bit better just because I know what I'm getting with that particular team because I know the players involved that are going to be playing. They're going to be highly targeted and used and all that stuff. I think that, like I said, at the end, it was really where it kind of hurt with Penny and Mostert and all that. I do like Gainwell, but, you could have found different pieces near the mid of your draft, like the 7, 8, 9 rounds, to kind of make it work a little bit better if you kind of worked out the top better. Either way, it's not a horrible team. I just think that there's room for improvement.
There you go. Yeah. And thanks, Ron. Yeah, he found the word that I was looking for. It's called chasing.
Yes, chasing.
So instead of all that zigging and zagging, if that got you confused enough, just delete all that and replace it with chasing. So because you did that, you were chasing, you were behind, you were trying to catch up. Yeah. So appreciate you, Ron. Shout out to the Ambassador League. Ron doesn't like slow drafts, as I heard.
Yeah.
Or as I witnessed, but it's okay.
I like slow drafts.
I loved it. He made the draft worth it. It was worth it. So appreciate it, man. We're gonna go at it again this year. Hopefully, you and I are gonna be last again, because that was a problem last year. We were both last for a while in that league, so none of our strategies worked. Okay. Everybody and Junior got us all together. So there you go. All right, man. So big shout out to you, Ron. Appreciate it. All right, man. So that's gonna do it, man, for tonight. We appreciate you guys again for checking us out here. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're watching. If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit that like button for us. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, man. So help us get there. Just giving you guys an idea of what our rundown is going to be for the start of the season. We're going to have our Monday night shows, which is going to be overreaction. We're going to get into waiver wire ads, drops, things like that to help you heading into Tuesday. Wednesday nights we'll be here. Most likely Frank and myself will be here on Wednesdays to do our roster management show. So we're going to get into trades. After waivers run, maybe guys are looking to do ad drops with that are out as free agents. So we'll definitely get into that, taking your questions live Wednesday nights. Then we'll be here for our patented Friday start sit show with Classic Mike and I. We will go team by team, position by position, player by player, let you guys know who we're starting, who we're sitting, and taking your live Q&A questions. AMA, ask me anything about fantasy, I guess. So AMA, F about fantasy football. I guess we answer other questions too. Anything you guys got, but definitely doing that start sit show on Friday. So that's a good one. Yeah. And then Classic Mike will be here with you guys Sunday morning for the active inactive show. Last minute start sits. Once we know who's active, who's not. Some of those questions that we may not be able to answer Friday night, we're gonna get to you on Sunday night. I may make an appearance or two throughout the season. But for the most part, that's my boys' show because it's early here on the West Coast. Yeah. When we get into that, that's my Sunday that I'm usually sleeping in. And I'm in 15 leagues, so I got a lot of lineups to set and stuff like that. So
come on now, you get your football at 10 o'clock. I don't want to hear it.
I know it's great. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I got lineups and stuff to set. I don't have time to jump on a show. But what I'm feeling
do my
good
lineups while I'm in the
I
show.
do jump in there. I know, and I like it when you're doing the show too, because it's like. It's 9:30 and I'm like already zoned out. People asking questions. I'm like, yeah, look at my rankings. And I'm sitting here trying to set my lineups too. But it's cool. You guys will know who we're starting, who we're sitting in our own lineups. and we'll go from there. So before we get out of here, again, since we're about to start the season, man, if you guys don't have a season-ending prize to go with maybe that pot of gold that you have, make sure you guys go check out trophysmack.com. Use that promo code GetRight when you do check out. They have a bunch of different stuff there, man, from their rings to their belts to their trophies, and of course their Kirk Cousins chains. Got to get those in there. So make sure you guys, man, go check them out. Very inexpensive. And of course, they do have expensive ones as well. But for like as little as like, $9, you can get a ring per player, $9 per person in a 12-person league. You can get a ring. It's fully customizable. Those are the things that, keep league mates around. You want to keep a good group of guys around, man. Having those extra things in addition to the money makes it worth it. I know in my home leagues, playing for the belt is, almost more important than the money to me. You want to be that champion. You want to hold the hardware at the end of the year. So make sure you guys go check out trophysmack.com and use that promo code GetRight. In the description, you'll find the link to take you right there to go get your end of the year prizes. Last thing, or a couple other things here, a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure you guys go check out our affiliates, man. We got the Fantasy Frontline podcast with AJ and Tim. We got the Check Down podcast with Cody McGoats and Shirtless Pat and the fellas. And then we got, of course, the Dead Zone Fantasy Show with them boys here, Mr. Adam J, coming soon. So make sure you guys go in there, help support the Get Right affiliates in there. Go in there, subscribe to their channels. And then, of course, you have the friends of the channel, our guys that aren't necessarily under the Get Right umbrella, but close friends with us here. You got Dynasty. Oh, there we go. We got their logo even. There we go. See, we need to get a fantasy board run too. But go check out Martin over at the Dynasty Pylon. They'll get you guys ready with your IDPs, real into Dynasty IDP there. And then, of course, I just guested on Tycoon Show, not yesterday, Wednesday, over at the Fantasy Boardroom. So link is in the description as well to go subscribe to them. So just support us all, man, here. We'll keep bringing this great content, hopefully keep you entertained while we're doing it. So we appreciate the support. And of course, if you are interested in like writing or podcasting and just interested in doing some freelance work here for Get Right Fantasy Network, make sure you guys reach out to me if you want to, get a column started or get a show started under our network here. Email me at getrightff.com or getrightff@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Sleeper or Twitter. We'll set up a meeting and chat. But of course, we're looking to expand. So, hit us up if you're interested. We'll help you get going. We got one person in here saying, I think we have a couple of questions here before we get out of here.
Brooks said, I have 4 QBs in a Superflex, had Purdy and Jimmy G because I didn't know how the Superflex battle will shake out. Jalen Warren is on the wire. Should he drop Jimmy G for Warren? No one wants to trade for him. I probably wouldn't. I would keep Jimmy. You're not allowed to respond because you're a Raider hater.
All right. I'll keep my thoughts quiet then. I'm sure he's going to DM me anyway. We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
Brooks, you can DM me anytime. I'll have an answer for you there.
JH goes, a starting QB is far more valuable than a potential breakout running back in Superflex.
I'd personally, and I'll just give my quick answer, I'd personally hold on to the 4 quarterbacks right now. Yeah, missing out on Warren could be a mistake. But if somebody's QB goes down, man, they'll be ready to trade for him. So if you have 4 QBs, somebody doesn't have one. So when it comes to bye week, something like that, that's when you might be able to get something out of somebody and package a deal. So I'd hold on to him heading into the season and see how it goes. And he knows what's up, man. We have a lot of conversations in the DM there. So yeah, man. So again, appreciate you guys, man, for coming out again. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for us. Again, hit that like button if you haven't already. We've got Jeff in here saying, I really appreciate all the help and advice. You guys are the best. Honestly, taught me a ton. And I know that and know what not to do when it comes to my drafts next week. I haven't been in that position before. So we appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Hopefully you did learn, some stuff there. Not necessarily just more so, again, go get your players and stuff like that, but just understanding your builds, what players are going to be available to you or what's, important. So hopefully, like you said, we helped you out with that and you go dominate those home leagues. Your home leagues probably aren't going to be as hard, so to speak, as they are in the mocks that you guys were drafting with other analysts and other degenerates, like us in here, man. You guys were in some really competitive mocks. When you guys go to your home leagues, you're going to see guys falling and dropping to you guys like crazy, and you're going to be like,
yeah.
what is this? Again, unless you're in one of those crazy leagues like we are with our listener leagues, because it's all you same degenerates in there. But yeah, so it's good stuff. And yeah, there is last place. There is last place last year. So yeah, so there it is. So we'll get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
What do you
I was
got,
going to say,
Classic?
the one
Sorry.
thing I will say for those people that are going into their drafts this weekend or next week, you know, just stay fluid, flow with the draft, understand what's in front of you. Remember, you're building your particular foundation for your team in the first few rounds. Don't try to don't try to overdo it. Don't try to get crazy with it. Work to find the foundation of your team. Don't go, over the top with a bunch of risk and stuff like that. Try to be a little bit balanced. Understand that you can throw in some risky plays here and there. But otherwise, good luck to everybody in the next coming weeks in their home leagues and their drafts. I hope that what we gave you is helpful. And like Ant said, check back with us when we are starting in-season stuff. We're going to get you guys everything you need to keep those teams as good as they can be so you guys can win your championships.
Yeah, we're going to have to update this banner and change it to check out our week 1 rankings on GetRightFF.com. So we'll be getting those week 1 rankings in soon. As soon as the preseason games conclude, we'll have those rankings go. So there you go. Don't worry about your team. Just start sniping your opponents or your league mates there. Jerry's, what's up, Neanderthal? He's in here saying goodnight, guys, and you're on the clock. So I think he's talking to me. We're both on the clock now.
Yeah.
So there we go. Just do crazy stuff like go robust RB to bully tight end all at once, and you'll be fine. So definitely don't do that.
No,
unless you're in Rafi's league, obviously. Unless you're in Rafi's league and you're not me, then you can do that. So
there you go.
Right on, man. So again, we appreciate you guys, man. It's been a great off season. Unfortunately, I'm so sad now that the mock tournament's over.
Right?
As far as the qualifiers go, but we will be back here next Friday for the actual mock of champions. So it's going to be an actual best ball draft, a full 18 rounds. It's going to be best ball. It'll be turned into an actual league so that, we can actually play this thing out and the winner's going to take home that $50 cash prize. So for Frank, who's fishing right now, man, at some unknown remote location. So hope you're doing safe, man. We'll see you back when you get here on Sunday. For Dustin, who was in the chats earlier, I know he'll be watching later. We appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you working hard behind the scenes here. And for Classic Mike, my traveling partner here on Friday nights. And for myself here, Rasta Man, this is Get Right Fantasy Network. Peace out. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Later.
Wanted to write fantasy is the play. Marking nothing but